Hey Ben, welcome to the podcast.
Yo, what's up? How you doing?
Yo, pleasure to meet you. Kyle Norville, shout out to Kyle. He linked us up. Well, he just sent me. He was like, "Yo," I was because like I put on my page that like I was looking for guests, and
Yeah,
he slid me you and like six other people, and I was just like,
I've
I'm
known
a,
Kyle for a long time, for a
uh-huh.
super long time,
Yeah.
and he feel like he's always putting me onto something.
Well, he put you on me, I guess. so
Yeah, there's that.
so but speaking of you, how about you introduce yourself and let know the people to know where to find you as well.
Yeah, so my name is Ben. My Instagram is cash.13 with a K, and I'm one third of Risk Check Podcast.
Hmm.
The podcast is just at Risk Check Podcast on Instagram. We have a website. We're all over Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast at Apple, Google, anywhere you can think of, we're on it. The cool thing too is that with Spotify, we actually have Spotify with video.
Oh yeah.
So not a lot of people have that.
Hmm.
So when we signed up for that and we got approved, it was kind of crazy. So it's pretty good. I know a lot of people, if you watch podcasts on Spotify with video, it's actually, I would say it's a little bit better than watching them on YouTube.
Hmm. I mean, now you put because like the only person I know that has that or that I've watched an episode, well, two people is the John Berthal
Sure.
one has it,
John
and
Bernthal, yeah.
yeah, and then Joe Rogan, of course, he has.
Rogue. I think Joe Budden has it too.
Does he?
I think so.
I mean,
I know
after
Rogan
whatever
for
he did
sure.
to Spotify, I don't even think they would give him anything at that point.
Yeah, not anymore. But Rogan definitely has it. And it's funny because that's kind of what made us want to do it. We were like, what? Like Rogan has video on Spotify. We
Hmm.
should try that. So we did it. We got approved. And we were like, oh shit,
I
it's the
mean,
real deal now.
you got your production for your podcast is very. It's not this. It's that's it. That's it. That's it. So for
Hey,
anybody checking it out, yeah.
we've had to do some stuff that took a lot of time and energy and bread, to be honest.
Mm. I mean, doing a show at Soho House sounds crazy.
Oh, the
So
live show? The
yeah,
live show
that
was
live show.
nuts.
Yeah.
That was, believe it or not, it was months in the making in terms of, okay, we're gonna do this, we're talking to these people.
Hmm.
And then it turned out to be this like so last minute thing because we're like, okay, we have the date set, we know what we want to do. And then like a week out, they were like, yo, what are we doing? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? How long we been talking about this? So it was weird, but it came together.
Yeah, I mean, it looked great, looked fun. The podcast. I mean, I'm not. Well, we're here to talk sneakers, but like
Yeah,
I've known to dabble a little bit into watches, but it's funny because I'm just gonna hard pivot into my question, and then we could jump back into this.
that's fine.
So yeah, you're here to answer the question. What's your first kicks? What's that first pair of sneakers you absolutely needed to have?
The first pair of sneakers I absolutely needed to have,
Hmm.
it was probably the first pair of sneakers I bought with my own money. I
Okay.
think I was 15 and probably almost 16. There was a pair of metallic fives that had just came out.
Hmm.
Metallic Jordan fives. I remember there was a spot. So I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Bed-Stuy.
Hey.
There's a spot right off the Marcy J train
Hmm.
where it used to be a spot. It's not there anymore. Now it's like a Dunkin' Donuts. It used to be called Sneaker Q,
Hmm.
and he had everything you could think of. He had at least a week early. It was one of those spots. So
That's crazy.
yeah, he had them at least a week early. So we would stop by and be like, "Yo, like, how much for these in my size or whatever it would be?"
Hmm.
So you was kind of paying resale price to get it early, but you didn't care because you had it early. Like resale back then is not what it was now. There was no stock X. There was no one guy with 100,000 pairs of the same shoe. You know,
Hmm.
there was no Benjamin Kicks giving shit to celebrities and stuff with like plug access.
Yeah.
It was just like you had to know where to go, and they had to really rock with you to sell you the sneaker early.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember I paid, I think retail for them at the time was like 160, 180 for a pair of Jordans at the time. I remember I paid 220 to get them early.
I mean, that's not bad because now
Right.
now it's crazy to get an early pair.
So I paid 220 to get them early. And me and my boy Hector, he lived in the building next to mine growing up.
Mm.
So we went, we got both our pairs early. And then I remember the first thing we did was matching Crooks and Castles t-shirts. So this dates the era. I got the Crooks and Castles t-shirt to go with the sneakers and the pair of American Eagle cargos. That was the fit.
Is the crook? Cause I'm trying to remember. The Crooks and Castle is because I think I had one too, and I'm trying to remember if it's the brand that had the Medusa head with the
Yep,
mat with
all that,
the
all
bandana.
that. It
Oh
would have
man.
the rook chest piece with the
Hmm.
CNC behind it. It was
Hmm.
crazy.
They need to bring.
That
We need to
was
bring
that
those
was the
back.
move.
I can't
That was the
imagine
move though.
going into a vintage store and seeing that. Oh, vintage
You
Crooks and
probably
Castle.
will. It's gonna happen one day. It's gonna happen. I still have some like random T-shirts from the hundreds laying around.
Oh yeah, because hundred
I used to
stuff is
love
definitely
going to the
classic.
hundreds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's not gonna go out of style. The crook stuff though it was a little strange. Like looking back at it now, it's strange.
it's definitely strange. But let's talk about. I'm gonna just read a little synopsis on the Metallic Five since that's the pair you mentioned. You hit me with a swerve on that one, but
I hit you with a swear.
but
Well, the other pairs is well,
I'm already.
let's
Hold
the
on.
other
I've already
pair.
got this. I'm about to read this one right now. This 2007 retro of I just guessed that you got the 2007
That
pair.
was not the 2007. I got the
Ugh.
pair. I was in high school. My freshman year was 2009, so I think I got mine 2011, maybe 2010, 11, whatever that summer was.
Okay. Well,
It
somebody.
was I think it was the second retro of that shoe ever.
Yeah. Uh.
They had
So
icy blue bottom.
just if you're listening, just think this was actually 2011. Like this, I'm reading 2011 in the description
Yeah.
of a retro 2011 retro of a 1990 OG colorway, which features a black nubuck upper with a reflective 3M tongue. The translucent mesh matches both of the part of the outsole, which also appears in black. The signature shark tooth detailing sports a speckled silver, while fire
Hmm.
red accents are limited to the Jumpman on the tongue. The lace toggle, I mean, with a lace, I forgot what they're
The
called.
lace
Lace lock,
locks.
yeah, the lace lock, and the Air Jordan inside the tongue. The 23 on the ankle is embroidered in metallic silver, which did not appear on the original model.
Hmm.
That shoe, I never had a five. That I never had a metallic five, but I guess that scratched the itch when I bought the off white fives,
Yeah,
the black
sure.
joint. So it's
Yeah,
yeah,
those are hard.
yeah. I
I would
wore them
want to get a pair of
warm.
those still.
I wore them for New Year's, and I was just like, yeah, this is it right here. I'm bringing the New
Is that
Year's
the
with
last time you
this.
wore them?
Yeah, that was the last time I wore them.
I just got rid of my off-white force,
Which one?
the sand colorway.
The sand. Oh, yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say
the
like
women's pair.
cream. Yeah, you're lucky you get to fit that
I just got
size.
rid of them. What size do you?
13.
What? Oh, oh yeah, they don't make them for you. I think the biggest size was a women's 13.
Yeah, which is like
So that
men's
was like what, the men's
11.
11? Yeah,
Yeah, which is it's trash. I mean,
yeah. So I just got rid of those. I never really wore them.
but why's that?
I never really wore them. I think I wore them three times.
Mm. You were you just like I'll just
I'm
get a
not
cop to
too
cop?
sure to be honest. I think
Yeah.
I liked them. It fell into a no. I mean, when I got them, I put them on almost immediately. I wore them the same week I got them for the first time.
Hmm.
But I really only wore them a handful of times. And like, if I turn the camera around, I have one, two, three, four, five. I have seven pairs of shoes out right now. I've worn all seven of them this week.
I mean,
So it got to a point in time when that wasn't hitting the rotation anywhere near as much as I wanted it to. And I think it was like a gift and a curse having them because like, oh my God, I'm so happy I have these. And it's also
hmm,
like, oh my God, I have these. I can't wear them. Like I just like them too much.
yeah.
But I mean, the thing I kind of thought about it for a while and I was like, I'm gonna just dump them. And then when I did, I was like, fuck, I kind of want them back.
You got that
But
seller's remorse.
yeah, I mean, the thing about it too is that the price on them went down a lot.
Hmm.
So it's a sneaker I'll probably buy again.
I mean, I think it's a great shoe. I'm hoping they drop the bread fours because that's my favorite
Yeah,
colorway of
I'm
the fours.
fiending for those. I never
Yeah.
owned a pair of Bred Force.
It's just I had the 2005 pair or something like that. I
Hmm.
cooked those. They're cooked. Like I don't even
I
know why I
cooked my
still have
cement
them.
fours.
Yeah, I that's on the
Cements were
cooking list.
fire. Yeah,
That's yeah, that's one of my
that's
favorite
another
model of all
pair of
time.
sneakers.
Yeah.
That's another pair of sneakers I got a Crooks and Castle t-shirt for.
Yeah, that was definitely the vibe of just like
Do you
the
remember
whole
Darkwing
fits.
Duck?
Yeah, of course.
They did a gray t-shirt with Darkwing Duck on it, and I
Hmm.
was like, oh my God, I need that for my force. It
Would you
was
go to
that, and I had
YRB for that?
Nah, oh my God, forgot all about that store. There was a website. I forgot what the website was, but this is where everybody used to shop.
Moose Unlimited.
Nah, it was
Uh,
something else. It was like one of them like hype B stores that sold like every brand that we wanted when we were that age, like for
mhm.
that era. I forgot what it was called, but they don't exist anymore.
I'm trying to remember
But
now.
I remember like everyone who was like on the YouTube wave had like a code for them. It was like put in this code for $50 off your order, whatever. But it was one of those stores where it was like they had everything. They had Crooks and Castles. They sold like Diamond Supply Co. Huff.
Mhm.
Had everything. I
Jeez.
gotta find the site. I remember the layout. It was white landing page with black and blue accents.
Shoot. I'm trying to
Someone's gonna find
remember.
it.
Yeah, so whoever's listening to this, just send
Someone's
it to
gonna find it. You're gonna find it.
tag us, make a story post and tag us.
Yeah. Don't. The website doesn't exist anymore though, but you can find it.
But yeah, talk about the other pair that you wanted to talk about as well.
Oh, the Prestos. The
Yeah.
Prestos was the first pair of shoes I remember having as a kid, like vividly.
Hmm.
Like I remember putting those shoes on almost every day to go to school with. And I remember they were slip-ons. They didn't have laces because I had a hard time tying my shoes as a kid.
Yeah.
Like the bunny rabbit ears fold over thing did not work for me. So I remember my mom was like, "I'm gonna get you these sneakers." So she got them for me, and they were this like light shade of blue. They weren't really baby blue, but they were almost there, like in between a navy and a baby blue.
Hmm.
And they had a gray cage, which was a little bit different because the slip-on Prestos never had a cage.
Right.
They always had like those straps that went across the toe box.
Hmm.
But this one had a cage with no laces. And I thought it was the coolest fucking thing ever. So that's what I used to wear almost every day. And I remember the first pair of shoes I learned how to actually tie my own shoes with.
Yeah.
It was a pair of Pippins.
Ooh, the air joints on the side
Yeah, up tempos.
of tempos.
Yep.
That's crazy.
White, white with the air in navy with white trim.
How were you so blessed to be able to get dope sneakers, man?
I
Because
don't know,
it wasn't
dog.
me.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I think have my first pair of like Jordans, like real Jordans,
Hmm.
until I bought my metallic fives when I was in high school.
Wow.
I had spent my own money on those. I remember I had a bunch of Nikes. I had a couple Adidas. Adidas was never really my thing. To this day, I don't. I own two pairs of Adidas, and they don't really count
Hmm.
because it's a pair of. I should actually probably get rid of them because I don't wear them anymore. Again, I'm going to date myself here. The last time I bought a pair of Adidas was when Raf Simons, Stan Smiths were a thing.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm looking. I'm looking at the box right now. They're silver metallic Raf Simons, Stan Smiths. And then the second pair, which is a pair that I love, that I don't think I'll ever get rid of just because I like saying I own them, is that I
Hmm.
have a pair of neighborhood Stan Smiths.
Yeah, those are fire. I
The
like
brown
those.
leather with the
Yeah.
pirate skull in front.
Hmm.
I beat those to death. So I don't think I'll get rid of those just because I'm a little sentimental over it. But I remember having a couple pairs of Adidas, a bunch of Nikes, and then the first pair of Jordans was when I got the fives.
Hmm. That's. I mean, that's a good track record because for me, it was
Yeah.
like Payless sneakers until maybe I was 15 or something like that, 16 or
Yeah.
something like that.
I remember though, it was crazy because Black Air Force energy was a real thing.
Uh-huh. That was like the one shoe I always had was like
Yeah.
in high school. I always
Black
had
and white
black.
Air Force.
Yeah.
When I went to high school, they made us buy Black Air Force as part of our uniform. There was a part of the uniform that you need to have Black Air Force. That's the only sneaker we'll accept. So all of us went to school with Black Air Force on. We didn't even think about it. Like we
Yeah.
didn't care.
What was like your sneaker scene at that time? Like what did you had like a group that you was running with and
Not
collecting
really.
with?
I kind of me and my boy Hector, who I mentioned earlier, it was really just me and him because he was a lot older than me.
Hmm.
I'm like the youngest person in my friend group. So he has me by like I'm 27 now. I think he has me by 5 or 6 years.
Hmm.
So I was 14, 15, and he was 20. So between him and my sister's always been really like fashion forward. So she always had, not always had, because I mean we couldn't always afford it, but she always knew about the new shit, the latest and
Hmm.
greatest. And then when I started making my own money or like saving money, I was like, I'm gonna buy sneakers because I mean the white t-shirts, the uniform, that's all I need. I just need a white
Yeah.
tee, some jeans, and I just need a new pair of sneakers every time I go out.
What was
So
the
that's kind of what we did.
what was the first job you had then?
I worked off the books on a bread truck when I was
Hey.
14.
That's
My first
crazy.
summer, my first summer, so my birthday's in September, so it's kind of
Yeah.
late into the school year. So I turned 14, my first day of high school, I turned 14.
Hmm.
And then that next summer, I was still 14 until I went back to school. So I couldn't really get a job anyways. I was like too young. And like I applied to like have a job at like a summer program and they like didn't accept me because it was a lottery. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna try to make bread however I can. So
Mm-hmm.
my mom knew this guy who he worked on the bread route. He had a truck and he would deliver to delis and grocery stores, supermarkets. So he was paying me cash every Friday. He was giving me 250 in cash every Friday. And I was like, oh shit, it's a new pair of sneakers every Friday. It's either a new pair of Jordan. This is when Jordans was coming out on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And then Foot Locker was still doing midnight releases. So I was lining up for sneakers all the time. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna blow the bag on the pair of sneakers every time. 'Cause, I don't got no responsibilities. I ain't paying no bills. I'm living at
Yeah.
home, 14. Like, I'm just worried about looking fly. So that's what I did. But I remember lining up all the time, all summer, all winter, after school. It was crazy. Like, I remember when Foot Locker dropped the Electroline foam posits,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what shut down the midnight releases. That was a release where they were like, no more of this shit. It got
Where'd you go? Was that
crazy.
like you went to?
34th Street.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Fulton Street.
Nah, I ain't go to Fulton. I knew better than that. You went to Fulton Street, dudes was bringing guns out there.
Oh
Fulton
yeah,
Street, you
for
ain't go to
sure.
Fulton Street. I seen it. I seen it happen. But 34th Street was a little safer. There's cops around, so most people went there. The problem was walking to that train station.
Oh yeah.
If you was by yourself, you had to be fast because they definitely had people watching at the train station. But for the most part, it was all right. And then even if you like didn't go with anybody, like I'll usually go by myself.
Hmm.
If I like, I would say 7 out of 10 times I would be alone. I would always bump into somebody that I knew, whether it be from just living nearby, mutual people, knowing them by face, so it would be okay. But I know that Electroline phone posit was crazy. That's what shut down all the midnight releases for Foot
What?
Locker.
Well, so I don't think a lot of people understand that. So
Nah.
can you tell us what happened that day?
So specifically with the Electroline phone posits, I remember what it was about that sneaker, that colorway. Foams is also crazy at the time.
Hmm.
Every like that foams had a wild resurgence, and when that colorway dropped, it was one of the first colorways to have the Nike check on the side too.
Hmm.
So people just went ape shit, and I remember so many people who I'd never seen on the line before. So many kids I went to school with who didn't care about sneakers. They all just wanted it, and they all did whatever it took to get them. 'Cause I remember they came out on a Friday night, no school the next day.
Hmm.
Everybody was outside, and it got rowdy. And this is when Foot Locker used to stay open for the release, so you could walk in and out the store until midnight that the shoe
Yeah.
came out. And then after midnight, they would do the release. They would close, and it would come and reopen the next day.
Hmm.
So it was just crazy in there. People started like the line was a little rowdy before the release started happening. People were going in and out trying to buy pairs early. That's what really set people off. You try to buy a pair early, you come outside, people was getting at you. And I remember they had cops come. They didn't shut the release down, but cops came by a couple times to make sure nobody's acting crazy.
Hmm.
It didn't matter. People started getting crazy, and then people started getting their shoes and walking out. Fights started happening. There was like real riots out there. Like that's when after most people got their shoes, I remember cops came and just shut the whole block down. They had a fire truck on one end of the street, so cars couldn't come by. It was nuts. They didn't even finish the release. People had to go back the next day. They was there the next day asking for sneakers.
That's crazy. So you able to get a pair?
No, I didn't get to cop, and it's crazy because I don't want to say no names because I don't know. I'm not gonna say no names, but this girl, this girl I knew that we
Yeah.
went to school with, she got a pair. Her brother got a pair.
Hmm.
Both her cousins got a pair. And I knew all of them. We were all pretty close. We all grew up in the same building.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, what's up? Like, run back in there and scoop my pair. And it was a
Hmm.
wrap. They couldn't do it. Because cops had already came and people was bitching like, yo, how you got 4 pairs? I walking down with 4 bags. I was like, oh, it's getting crazy. So I never got a pair. I was one of the people that went back the next day trying to get a pair, and they told me no. They're like, we postponing the release. Whatever's here, just whatever. I don't know what we're gonna do with them yet. We're not selling them.
So was that a shoe
And
that
I was
got
tight.
that was a shoe that got away, or were you eventually able to come back around and get
Nah,
it?
I mean, I didn't care about it enough to be like, damn, like this the one that got away.
Hmm.
But I was just tight. I couldn't get it at the time. I remember one time. Remember the Kilroy nines?
Yeah, I got those.
I never owned a pair of nines, and I always like I never really found a colorway that I liked when they
Hmm.
were releasing at the time. Then the Kilroys came out, and I was like, oh fuck, that's cool, and I love the story behind it too. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to get those. I remember lining up for them
Hmm.
and then leaving the line. I was convinced to not buy them
Why? How?
because I was with people. People came with me. Well, they didn't come with me, but I was already in line. They met up with me.
Hmm.
And again, at this point in time, the midnight releases was over. So I had to be there all night until 10 that they opened the next day.
Right.
So I went after school and I'm waiting in line. I would have definitely gotten up there. I wasn't like towards the back or, the line wasn't crazy yet. And I remember some friends from school came to see me and my boy Hector came too. And they were like, you about to spend how much on them shoes? They're like, shit's is ugly, don't buy those. So I was like, nah, like they all right. And they're like, no, they're ugly, don't buy them. Like, don't
Hmm.
buy them, don't buy them, don't buy them. So finally, I was like, fuck it, I'm not gonna buy them. And then the next day, I went to Yellow Rat Bastard and the hundreds, and I blew all the money anyway on like t-shirts.
Those that's funny because like I really and people who don't know about the Kilroys, which I don't think a lot of people do because it was like a self-contained story that just came and
Yeah,
went mad quick.
it wasn't like a colorway that Jordan never wore on his feet
Yeah.
really. Like it wasn't one of those like team colorways. It wasn't
Hmm.
really like a retro. It was it's kind of like what this they're kind of like the OG shattered backboards, to be honest.
Oh,
It's a shoe that had a story
right.
associated to a person and then they made it for public release.
Well, I mean, I thought the story was that Jordan. This was supposed to like Jordan ended up playing on different teams. Like it was like quote unquote because you can't see me. Some people who are listening can't see me.
Yeah.
It's quote unquote Jordan during the lockout season went and played on like these underground teams under fake names, and Johnny Kilroy
Yeah.
was one.
Yeah, Johnny Kilroy was one.
And then
But the other cool thing about the Kilroy too, why
mhm,
I like the shoe so much is that so like in high school and just in general, like I love just like history and like during World War II, the Kilroy was a symbol
mhm,
for the American Army specifically. So they would go to different cities and towns and occupied, Europe and in Germany and in Paris. And when they would find safe housing, they would draw this figure on the
yeah.
wall. He would hide behind the wall and his eyes and his nose would peek over like this. And that was called the Kilroy. So it meant safety.
Whoa.
So that's
Oh,
why I like the shoe so much.
that's wild. That's wild. Now you're
So
making me
for
regret selling my
yeah,
pair now.
so like if a group of Allied soldiers found a house and they stayed there overnight, they was
Yeah.
like, all right, this is safe. They would draw Kilroy on it somewhere
Hmm.
that was pretty visible. And then if another group came up, days, weeks, however many months later, and they would find the same house, they would say, "Oh, like we can stay here. Like we were already here. This is safe."
That's wild. That's
So
the
that's why I
fire
love the
as
shoe
well.
so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
That's why I love the shoe so much. And like a lot of people didn't really care about it. It was like, oh, like they kind of shit on it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people did because they were like, this is like some fake wax story, but now we're
Yeah. No, that's
like,
legit. I remember they
yeah,
had like Jordan and Jerry curls and like one
yeah.
of the photos for that. And
Hmm.
like he had a black and silver like tracksuit on, Jordan tracksuit
The one
that
for
they
I think
made
his
for it.
name was like it was like something Montana, which was like the Knicks colorway,
Yeah.
and I wanted those so freaking bad. I was like, I
Well,
need to get
Knicks
these on
nines
Adidas.
actually dropped.
Yeah, I remember that. But that shoe is like a freaking boot. Like I can't.
Yeah, it was. Wasn't the
It's,
winterized nine?
yeah, there was a winterized nine that dropped like last year, later end of
They
last
did. They
year.
did a winterized olive nine too. That was a flop though.
Yeah, I think it's just it's such a bulky shoe that people are just
Yeah.
like, what is this like? And you got to be like, how did Jordan play in this? Because that thing
Yeah. He.
is.
Yeah. I actually never ended up owning a pair of nines,
Hmm.
and I think I was convinced not to buy a pair of nines because of that.
You
And
get,
then
yeah.
I think the hardest pair of nines ever though is Dornbecker nines.
Dornbecker nines are fire.
Dornbecker nines, I think, are the nicest pair of nines ever made.
I mean, also got to give it up to Brief and Brox, man. Beef and Brox.
I'm good on that.
What? Why?
I'm from Brooklyn. I'll just get Tim's. I'd rather have the Tim's.
I mean, they don't even make that model anymore, though.
You can find them.
The one with the eyes on the side or whatever you
Yeah,
want.
you can find them.
I
They don't
mean,
make olive nines anymore either, but people still buy them.
the winterized ones were definitely like olive knives. I think they
Yeah,
look like
yeah, they were
that.
olives. They were
Yeah,
winterized olives.
yeah.
You
And
could definitely find beef and broccoli Tim's though.
I mean, you're gonna have me looking
It's
because
gonna cost you though.
yeah, it's
So
gotta be
last winter, Mastermind did a collab with Timberland.
right. Yeah,
They did the all black, and then they
mm-hmm.
did beef and brock. And
There's
when light hit the side of them, there was a 3M skull that would pop out.
Mastermind is popping, man. I love Mastermind.
Yeah, but then the boots are like 350.
Yeah, I was gonna say them joints are probably going for a ton of money. I
Bro,
think
they saw
that
Mastermind makes t-shirts for like a grip.
yeah.
You know, a collaboration is going to be expensive.
I think that like it does make it it does it the thing about like Japanese culture appreciating American culture, like it'll make that turn of like, oh, we got to pay homage to this
Mm.
like New York staple, and that's what always comes out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think they do a Timberland collab almost every year.
I mean
They did
they had a
they did
docs. I think the
they
doc was
did
pretty
Docs, but
fire. Yeah,
they did a pair of 6-inch Tims. You know, they did an all black print and they did Butters with a Swarovski skull on the back.
that's crazy.
I think that might be the last ones that they did.
Did you get a pair?
Nah, I'm off the Tims. I've been off the Tims.
I mean, listen, I've always what's
I
interesting.
would rock the beef and broccoli though. I might
Oh
bring those
yeah,
back. I'm gonna have to.
I'm
I'll
gonna
find the
have to look 'em.
mastermind pair specifically though.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to do that too now. I know
Yeah, you have
because
to. If you're gonna do it, you
yeah,
gotta flex it.
it's got to be like some exclusive shit if you're gonna do it.
Like if you know, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny because like I was thinking about it earlier before you were jumping on. I was like, you know, what's always interesting was that height of of watches and sneaker culture. Like
Sure.
it like when people were just rocking G Shocks, thinking they were the hot
Oh yeah,
shit.
that's
Yeah,
all we did in high school.
yeah,
We talk about it on the podcast all the time. G Shock is one of those things that if it wasn't for G Shock, I don't think a lot of people would be into watches,
yeah.
especially like as a minority group. Like I
Hmm.
don't think black kids, Spanish kids, even white kids that grew up, in the neighborhoods that we grew up in, Bed-Stuy, Harlem, just Brooklyn in general, Manhattan. I don't think we would really care or look at watches like we do now. We didn't have to start. And
Hmm.
I think for us, people, especially if you listen to hip hop, G Shock was the thing.
Yeah, I think and then also their like collaborations were also crazy.
I have a cousin in Florida. I remember the last time I really saw him and hang out with him for like a long period of time, I was 14. Again, it was my freshman year of high school. I went to go see him for spring break. I was there the whole spring break. I was there for like 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And he gifted me a 25th anniversary G-Shock that was it was clear and it had like gold flakes in it.
Hmm.
And that sent me down a rabbit hole. Because that's all we was wearing out here was G-Shocks. Like if you was in high school and you didn't have a G-Shock on, you was a bum. You was getting roasted. Like
Oh
if you had
yeah,
anything on that wasn't a G-Shock, you was it was over for you. Like you wasn't no man, what you had on your feet? If you didn't have a G Shock, you wasn't fly. So
no,
we was
yeah.
all wearing G Shocks, but a lot of dudes was fronting. They was all going, I'm gonna call them out right now. They was all going to Queen Center Mall and
Hey,
going to the stand and
uh
copping G Shocks for like $25. Them shits is not real. The color would fade on them all the time. That's how you knew where you got it from.
and it's
So
definitely being sold next to the hair guy at Queen Center
yeah,
Mall.
hell yeah. Hell yeah. You remember that dude with the long hair?
Yeah, with the long hair,
He would
bro.
walk around with the flat irons
Uh
twirling. He was
he
a hustler though. He was
he
trying to get
had
everybody.
his because I was on Facebook because I'm from Queens, so like that was my area, and so
Yeah.
like I was on Facebook one time and I got suggested. Apparently, I got suggested him, but he had a fan page, so it was like 10,000 people who knew who he
Yeah.
was had his own fan page, and they would just talk about They would like he would be in there. He would have his like apparently he would like take pictures and then like pose with the hair curling
Yeah.
and
Oh
stuff.
no, he would.
Yeah.
He used to have posters in the mall. He definitely printed those himself. There was not marketing for that man.
Mm-mm. That man
But
is
yeah,
legendary.
so the stand I'm talking about where
Yeah,
they had all a bunch of watches there. They used to
all the
sell
G
G-Shocks
stocks.
for like $40.
Mm-hmm.
No. No way. I used to have to beg my mom to take me to the G-Shock store in Soho, next to
Uh-huh.
where BBC used to be,
Right.
so I could get a G-Shock. And she bought me one G-Shock, and it was black and green. The only reason why she bought me that one was because it matched my uniform. I had to wear a green polo to school. That's why she got it for me, with black sneakers. And it was the
Damn.
one G-Shock I had until my cousin gave me that one.
Mm. I think that's like, yeah, that G Shock era was something, man. Because like also the height of Bape was going around too.
Yo,
Like,
they did the Bape collab.
uh
There's a
huh.
bunch of Bape G Shocks.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Pharrell and Lil Wayne used to have the bust down G Shocks.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne used to have a different color bust down G Shock to his Bape hoodies. He had. I
Mm-hmm.
remember my favorite one ever was that purple bust down G Shock that he had with the purple first camo Bape hoodie,
Yeah.
the full zip. I was like, fuck, that is nice. And I
Yeah.
remember they used to sell again. They used to sell the foo joints in Queens Center Mall,
Mm-hmm.
even bust down. They used to sell them for like $200. Talking about, oh, yeah, it's purple diamonds. No, the fuck is not. It's
Purple
not.
diamonds. That's
It's not, bro.
crazy.
It's
That's
not a thing.
crazy. The have you been like? Do you watch like the? You ever seen that like dude? I forgot his name, but He's on TikTok and he'll do like the watch brokering, and he'll try to like buy off. He'll try to buy pieces off like other jewelers, and
Maybe. There's a couple people doing. Is it Mike Nobu? Maybe.
I think it
There's a
might
couple
be.
people doing it. If it's Mike Nobu, I know Mike personally.
Mm,
We're I don't want to say we're pretty good friends, not that close, but we're friendly enough. We talk sometimes. He actually put me on one of his videos.
I'm gonna have to find that then. I'm gonna have to be
Yeah,
like,
it's one of
yeah,
the. I think it's one of the first videos he put on his TikTok. He does this thing too, where he walks around like random people in the street,
yeah.
and he'll ask them what's on their wrist, and they'll have a
Hmm.
conversation about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I sent you one of those. I think that's
Yeah.
it's very interesting because like yeah, the other day I think he posted. I don't know if it was the other day, but he posted. I forgot this guy's name. Something like something dad. It's like he makes like funny videos on TikTok that make fun of
Hmm.
other videos. But he had a
Yeah.
watch with a floating uh, minute uh, minute hand, and it would just float
Yeah.
around in like a
It's probably
big
like a
circle.
mystery dial.
Yeah, mystery dial. That's
Oh,
what it
wait,
is.
wait. I know you, I just saw that video. He
Yeah,
had a it was a Maurice Lacroix, and it's a floating. It's a mystery seconds hand.
yeah.
Yeah, I seen it.
That's
I just saw that
wild.
video today, actually.
That's so wild. Such a wild.
Mystery
Yeah.
hands are nutty. They're usually never really seconds hands either. They're usually hours and minutes.
Mm.
If you see a seconds hand, it's kind of like funky, even
Mm-hmm.
for that kind of thing. One of my friends, her name's Kathleen McGivney. She's the co-founder of Red Bar Crew,
Mm-hmm.
which is this watch community that's like pretty much international. She's in the UK right now because they just launched their own watch with Bamford Watch Company. Do you know what
Uh huh.
Bamford is?
Nah, I don't.
So Bamford, you ever seen like those all black Rolexes that are really popular a long time ago?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
they
yeah.
used to do like Rolexes with like Popeyes as like the second hand and like
Mm-hmm.
Mickey Mouse and shit. So that
Mm-hmm.
was all Bamford. It was started by this guy named George Bamford. They don't do Rolex anymore because LVMH
Mm-hmm.
actually owns Bamford Watch Company now. So they
Oh.
can only customize LVMH brands, but they also have their own line of watches, which is called Bamford.
Mm-hmm.
So Red Bar Crew did a collaboration with Bamford on their own watch, and they just put out the first watch to ever have a mystery sub dial.
I don't know what that
So,
means.
so the dial is what people would call like the face of the watch,
Yeah.
where the hands are.
Mm-hmm.
A sub dial is basically a face inside of a face. It's a smaller face.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they did a chronograph, which is basically a fancy word for stopwatch.
Mm-hmm.
And the seconds hand to the chronograph is a mystery dial. It's the first one like ever made. And you would think like all these crazy ass brands out there would think to do something like that,
Mm-hmm.
but nope, they didn't.
That's absolutely nuts. That sounds nuts. I'm gonna have to see it. I'm gonna have to see it in
The watch
action.
is crazy. It's a
Yeah.
carbon fiber watch. It's an all black dial. It's nuts. It's not expensive either. I think it's like 4 grand, which for what you're getting is like a drop of water in the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean that Maurice Lacroix, that guy that you talking about,
Yeah.
that watch is north of 15 grand,
Yeah.
easy.
He's saying like, yeah, it's 15 grand. I mean,
Yeah, it's a nice watch.
it's wild because like, and then if you think about it like that, like, well, I don't understand. I don't understand watch appraisals, but I do understand sneaker appraisals,
Sure.
right? But it's like, man, imagine seeing like a shoe that's like, how I mean, how much is like how many runs like what's like a common run of like a watch?
Well, it depends. It depends on the brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a brand like Rolex, everybody wants a Rolex. They're probably the most hyped brand out there when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to watches. But they make, if I'm not mistaken, the third or fourth most watches of any company.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it that a brand like Rolex, who makes so many watches, has so much hype around it?
marketing.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
But that's the opposite of hype, right?
right.
Hype doesn't really relate to things that aren't limited or special.
Mm-hmm.
But then a brand like Omega, who produces around the same number of watches as Rolex does, doesn't really get all. They're a good watch, but they don't get all the hype that a Rolex does, and
Mm-hmm.
that's because they do too many limited editions.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that they do is limited edition, limited edition, limited edition. After a while, it's like, how is it limited? How is your brand limited if everything's a limited edition?
Yeah,
If
it's not
everything is special, quote
right.
unquote, is it actually special?
No.
No. And the thing with Rolex is that they don't say anything is special. They just make this shit and let us do all the work
Yeah.
because we fucking fiend for it as consumers. Because they have, again, marketing is genius marketing.
Mm-hmm.
They've been the American status symbol of success forever.
Sounds like Nike, man. Literally sounds like
Yeah,
Nike.
right. It's literally Nike. But the thing with Nike too is that, I mean, again, they produce a fuck ton of shoes, right?
Yeah.
But then the things that they make that are special are actually special.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was watching a clip on from the Full Size Run guys. They have that new podcast with Joe Puma,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about the Tiffany and Co. Air Force Ones.
Right. Yeah.
And Welty was saying like, I'm not trying to justify this shoe being $400, but at the same time, why shouldn't it be $400?
Right. I agree.
Like, yeah, it's an ugly ass shoe.
Listen, I
Would
like
I
the shoe.
wear
All
it?
right. I like the shoe.
Opinions are opinions.
Mm-hmm.
There's no right or wrong answer. I personally think the shoe's ugly as hell. Do I appreciate it? Have been better? Yeah. I understand why they did the Air Force.
Yeah.
Iconic Nike, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could have been better, but I understand why it cost so much, especially with this. You have the little silver bars in the back too. That's not cheap.
Yeah.
And it's a premium quality shoe. It's all nubuck. It's leather lined. It's nice. If it wasn't for the Tiffany and Co. hit, it'd probably still be a $200 Air Force.
Agreed. Agree. I think that I mean for me it's like listen, we had the Tiffany Dunks, which is like it's one of my favorite shoes.
I wonder how Nikki Diamonds feels about
I
that.
mean, but yeah, I was just gonna say like but because like the one thing about the Tiffany Dunk shoe is that the blue is actually not really Tiffany's blue.
Yeah, it can't be Tiffany blue.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Yeah,
it's like almost there, and then it's
yeah,
like yeah.
almost,
But
but almost don't count.
this shoe is using Tiffany's Pantone color, which you
Yep,
have to license through them, which you
yep,
have to go through like all this process in order to get to use it.
yep.
So it just makes the shoe like okay,
If you could get them, would
crazy.
you?
Yeah, 100%.
I'll get them and flip them all day.
I mean, if the
That
price
shoe's
goes
gonna go for
crazy,
like
I mean,
that
yeah.
shoe's gonna go for like a grip at least.
I mean, at least it's definitely gonna double at the very least.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. If I can get my hands on the pair, I'll get them and I'll probably flip them. To be honest, I might stash them for a while,
Hmm.
but I'll flip them. Have you seen how hard it's gonna be to get them?
I think they're probably what I've seen or heard or read. It's like they're probably gonna do something similar to the Dior's where you have to join it. Like like Tiffany's gonna drop them, and
Hmm.
then you get
So
selected, and then
Tiffany,
yeah,
Tiffany is gonna drop them. They already
hmm
have.
yeah,
So Tiffany did this thing like a year and a half ago called Tiff coins, so like
hmm
Bitcoin, but for Tiffany,
hmm
and it's a physical gold coin. They made, if I'm not mistaken, 140 of them,
hmm
and they cost $10,000 a pop.
Jeez.
And when you bought one, the whole point of it was to have exclusive access to limited Tiffany and Co. things.
Mm.
So this is the first time they're actually utilizing that. So if you own a Tiff coin, they already asked you if you wanted a pair. So if you wanted a Tiff coin, we know that there's at least 149 or 140 pairs of that shoe to go around at least, because there's at least one for every Tiff coin holder.
Right.
So the option was you can get just the shoe at 400, or you can buy a package. It was
hmm
this big box deal that came with all the accessories. So it was the shoe, it was the sterling silver brush to clean them with a little cup.
hmm
Those silver lace locks that you saw, those are an additional purchase. They don't come with the shoe.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So it comes with that, and it comes with the shoe horn in one package, and that package is $2,000.
Jeez. Jeez.
So the shoes are 400, and the rest of the accessories are 350 to 500 a pop.
How much you think you got to spend in order for them to gift you a pair with
To
everything?
get gifted a pair?
Yeah,
I don't think they would gift a pair unless you're a celebrity. It's LVMH. They don't play that shit.
yeah,
If you're not somebody, you paying. Even if you spent tons of money in that store, they'll give you access to it, but you're gonna pay.
yeah. I agree.
LVMH is only cares about friends and family, really. That's why Braun got it there. You think they
Yeah,
made Braun pay?
nah.
No.
But apparently LeBron gave his pairs to that dude Dracula. I don't know if you saw that video.
No, I didn't see that. What's that about?
So this dude, he owns a resale shop in Midtown, and he's like he went to, which doesn't make sense to me, but he went to, I think it was a sneaker con,
Hmm.
recently in like Pittsburgh or something like that, and he had like 10, he had like no, he said he had like 8 pairs of Tiffany's, and he put them all on the table, and he like showed them off, and people are like,
How
man,
much
these
are
are
you selling
fake.
them for?
I think he said 1,800 a pair.
They gotta be fake. I
Yeah.
ain't buying that shit. How did he get LeBron's pair?
I don't know. He said, and then he
Why would
in the
why would
video he
LeBron give
goes,
anyone his
I
pair?
don't know, but he said in the video he's like, this is because thank you LeBron. He goes, thank you LeBron, and I was just like, all right, man, you just exposing your peoples.
Tell that man Dracula he foo foo. I said it. Them shits is fake. There's
it's,
no way.
it's just wild. I don't know how because he has.
Unless he got 8 TIFF coins or bought them off people who got them already. Because people
Yeah.
do have them already. I know for a fact. I've seen them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't touched them, felt them in person, but I personally know people who have them in hand. I know two of my friends have them already,
Well, I mean,
and
you
they
do
got
work
them because they
in
have TIFF coins.
that like
Yeah, then I
that
mean
area.
these people were clients, and now we're really good friends, and
Hmm.
all my clients are my friends. To be honest, at this point, like I build really good relations with the people who I take money from, just to put it very bluntly.
Hmm.
Because there's a trust there. It has to go both ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have TIFF coins, and they told me like, "Yo, I got them. I have photos of them. They sent me photos, and I've seen the email that says, "Hi, do you want the package? Do you want just the shoe? This is how much it costs with tax. Blah 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 blah." I've seen all of it.
I mean, I'm jealous of them, but they probably got way more money than me, so it don't matter.
I mean, that don't matter. That don't matter. Because think about it. How
Right.
long you been collecting sneakers for?
Since 2006. So,
They got one pair right now. That's it.
yeah.
They never gonna have these.
Woo! You just made a ton of people jealous with that one. You got
That was in my rotation
the
this week.
ah man, that's wild. The Tom Sachs Mars yards are.
They ain't got these.
I mean,
Worn, beat,
yeah.
creased.
I mean, you wear your
The
kicks,
back
man.
of them. Look at the back of them. See that?
Yeah,
I wear all my shit.
you gotta
That's why I
love
got rid
that.
of the fours. I literally wore them like 4 times tops.
Hmm. So,
Tops.
like, what is? Do you see any similarities between watches, the watch
And
community,
sneakers?
sneakers?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's the same person.
yeah.
I have so one of my really good friends too, who also started off as a client. His name is Danny Arango. He owns a sneaker store on the Lower East Side called District One.
Yeah. I just learned about
Yeah,
District One like a couple months ago.
him and his partner Simon. They they're OGs.
Hmm.
Danny especially. Danny was one of those guys lining up for all the crazy shit that I went through.
Hmm.
So it's funny because I never knew Danny until maybe 2 years ago that we
Hmm.
met. And he was telling me all these stories about the shit he used to do for sneakers and lining up. And I was like, yo, I was there for that release. And he's like, yo, there's probably a photo of us out there somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's definitely a photo of 15-year-old me, like lining up for a pair of sneakers and you in it somewhere. So it's the same guy. Like they started off with sneakers with him, and now his watch collection. He was on an episode of my podcast, and like his collection now is insane. It's
Hmm.
if you're gonna put a value on it, it's definitely 7 figures.
Hmm.
And like it started with sneakers. And that guy that I mean, just me being me, like I have a watch collection. They're not all crazy bangers. Like the one like crazy banger I got that people would be like, "Yo, like I want that," would probably be my Rolex, but it's one
Hmm.
Rolex. The rest of
Hmm.
them is literally there's like 7 swatches, 10 G-Shocks. Like it's all relatively like inexpensive things,
Yeah.
right? If you can buy a pair of crazy sneakers, you can buy a G-Shock or a swatch. So that's just how it starts. And then with the whole hype aspect, it's these things are assets. Like my used pair of Tom Sachs Mars jars that I just showed you, I could get 3 grand out of those right now.
Oh yeah, easily. You probably get like
Worn, beat,
yeah, you get like 10, close to 10 with that.
brand. I mean, I remember brand new. They selling on StockX right now. My size, a size 9.5, is going for like 7 grand on StockX right now.
Mm-hmm.
I could sell a beat pair for at least three. Danny told me, he's like, "Go, if you, I'll give you 3 cash for those and put them in my shop, and I could probably get 4.5 out of them." And he really could for
Yeah.
a pair like that. And with watches, is the same thing. People are looking at them as equity.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, the way when I got my Rolex, I mean, it's the most expensive purchase I've made to this day. The watch is right around 7 grand after tax,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going for more than that secondary value. I could get 10 out of it if I want a really fast flip. So the way that I saw it is I'm wearing my savings account. I'm
Yeah.
wearing it. And as a matter of fact, I took the bread out of my savings account and I made money with it. Because all scratched up and shit how it is now is hard to get, period. So if I
Mm-hmm.
want to sell it, someone's gonna take it from me.
That's I mean. So then, what is the Rolex of your sneaker collection?
The Rolex of my sneaker collection, probably, honestly, probably my Tom Sachs.
Mm.
Just in terms of rarity and what you had to do to get it.
Yeah.
You know about this release about Governor's Island?
Yep. I know about it.
Yeah, no one knows about that story.
Did you go?
I
Did
tell
you?
people
You
about
did the
that shit.
whole?
Yeah,
You did the whole
yeah, I
thing.
had to. I took off from work.
That's crazy. You actually got it.
I
You
took
actually
off
got
from
it
work.
on release because everybody that I've heard always got it secondhand. They
That's
never
what I'm
really.
saying.
Yeah.
No one knows how you had to buy the shoe. And I'm like, how do you? I've seen people wear it and be
Hmm.
like, yo, like, how'd you get yours? I'm like, what do you mean, how'd I get it?
I did
You
the
didn't go to
training course,
Governor's
yo.
Island?
Yeah.
And they were like, Governor's Island? And I'm like, yeah, how you don't know about that? So the whole story is Nike dropped. That's when they were doing like the classes on like the regular Nike website. You need a
Yeah.
Nike account, not a sneakers account, a Nike account.
Hmm.
And they dropped this thing that was called Space Camp.
Yeah.
And you had to sign up for a day to go to Space Camp on Governor's Island. So I somehow got a spot into the class. I just went for any open day, any open slot. I did it. And I remember I think I was 19 or 20 when these came out. So I remember I was at work and I was like, yo, I took a lunch break to sign up for that class. Like I went hard. Like I'm not missing this shit.
Hmm.
And I remember the only day I could sign up was that Friday and I had to work. So luckily for me, like the crew I had at work, like all my bosses were relatively young. They're in their early 30s. Like we all similar backgrounds, so we understand it. And I was like, yo, like I gotta go get these Tom Sachs sneakers on Friday. Like I'm not coming to work on Friday.
Hmm.
And my boss at the time, his name is Enno. We're still really cool. He was like, yo, you serious? Like, what the fuck are these sneakers? And I showed
Yeah.
him like, yo, those are hard. I was like, yeah, so I'm not coming to work. And he's like, all right, like I support that. I'll give you the day off.
Hmm.
So Friday came, and I remember I had a crazy night on Thursday. I remember it was a coworker's birthday. They stuck me into a bar. We went drinking, playing trivia all night. I was fucked up Friday morning. And my friend Justin, he had just got a car and he lived down the block from me. And I remember he just so happened to like randomly call me.
Uh-huh.
And he's the reason why I woke up. And if he didn't call me, I would have missed that ferry and I would have missed my time slot for the event. He called me and I was like, yo, where you at right now? He was like, I'm home. I'm about to go downstairs and like get in the car. And I'm like, yo, I need you to take me downtown Brooklyn. I need you to take me to the fucking ferry right now. I need you to
Hmm.
take me there like right now. I need to get on the boat. And he was like, I come downstairs. I'll be there in 2 minutes.
Hmm.
So he picked me up, and I think he was like sped. Like definitely ran a couple red lights to get me to that ferry. So I get on the ferry. I make the ferry. We get there. I still feel crazy. They have you wait in the line. They take your photo. They give you a badge that says Tom Sachs Space Camp with your
Hmm.
photo on it. And then they put you in this dark ass room. And then they hand you a bag with your name on it.
Hmm.
And then in the bag is Nike branded clothing that still has your name on it.
Yeah.
So you got this all white T-shirt that said NASA on the sleeve.
Hmm.
And on the other sleeve, it had a Nike check and it had a 3M strip with your name written in black Sharpie. And you got a
Wow.
matching pair of shorts, all
Yeah.
white. And they sit you down in a chair and you have to watch this Tom Sachs like short film called 10 Bullets.
10 bullets. Yeah.
And after you watch 10 Bullets, you go through the obstacle course. I think it was like 40 courses. It was something ridiculous.
Hmm.
The first one was there's an easy way and a hard way to do everything. I remember the first one was you can do 10 push-ups, three different styles, or You can do push-ups, just regular push-ups, but you have to do it until the trainer tells you to stop.
Oh man. Okay.
So I did the easy way for that shit. I was
Yeah,
like, I'm
yeah. I
gonna
was
do it.
gonna say you
Let's
gotta
try to
do
keep it
these
going.
ways. Yeah.
There was the one after that was you could climb a rope or climb a ladder and ring a bell. There was one where you could walk across a log. It was pretty wide, so you weren't like gonna fall or anything. It
Yeah.
was either walk across a log, and then the hard way was you have to trapeze over a swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to mix it up. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do some easy, some hard. I want to figure out what works. And I didn't realize that there was a trapeze over the swimming pool. I thought you just had to walk along the side of it and like not fall in.
Yeah.
And I saw people doing it. I saw people walking. So like, oh, like I'll do that. Like, I want to, test myself. So I go up there and this guy throws a trapeze at me. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, swing across. And I was like, I didn't know I had to do that shit. So I swung across the pool.
Yeah.
There was, that game, The Floor is Lava.
Yeah.
They had this adult version of The Floor is Lava. That shit was crazy because there was so much space between what you could jump on and the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And if you touched the floor, you had to start over again.
Mm-hmm.
But by start over, it wasn't like you just go back to the beginning and start. It was you had to go to the back of the line of people that were waiting to do that and then
Right.
go through.
And then do it again.
And also, I was trying to get to the end as fast as I could because I don't want these shoes to sell out. Like I want to buy this shit,
Yeah.
and like I didn't know what it was like.
Mm-hmm.
So long story short, I make it through all of them, and they give you a wristband to line up and buy the shoes. I had cash on me. I was going to pay for the shoes in cash. So I get to the front, and the guy's like, "Oh, like
Card
it's
only.
credit or debit card only. There's no
Yeah.
cash."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Fuck." So there's this kid in line behind me. He's like, "Yo, bro, give me the cash. I'll buy it for you." I was like, "What?" I was like, "There's nice people here."
Yo, for real.
Yeah. So he paid. I gave him the cash. He came up and he bought the shoes to me. And then I went home. And I remember I got back to downtown Brooklyn on the next ferry.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was walking to the ferry, Tom Sachs rode past me on a skateboard.
That's wild.
Yep. And
That
I
shoe.
wanted him to
That
sign
shoe.
it.
That is crazy.
I wanted to
Yeah.
like stop him and be like, "Yo, like sign my shoes," because I actually met him before. He did a talk with Virgil.
Mm-hmm.
He did a talk with Virgil at his old studio, and I went to that. And then the shoes came out, and I was like, "Yo, like, I want him to sign my shoes." Like, I got a photo. I got a photo with him. I got a photo with Virgil, and I got a photo with the two of them together.
That's
So I was like, "Yo, if I
wild.
get him to sign my shoes, like that would be hot." And he gave me the pen that he wrote with that night because he sold a book and
Mm-hmm.
he was signing books. He gave me the pen.
Got
So I
history
was like,
right
"Yo, if I get
there,
him to sign
man.
my shoes, that would be
Yeah.
crazy." So I never got him to sign my shoes, but as you can see, I wear them all the time because I love them so much. And I got back on the ferry. I got home, and I remember the first thing I did was I hopped on the bus downtown to the house. I took the 54 all the way home. I walked to Fulton Street to hop on the 54.
Mm-hmm.
I took it all the way home. It leaves me by the front of the crib. I hopped in the shower. I put the shoes on, and I walked to the J. Crew that I worked at
Yeah.
with my new shoes on,
Uh-huh.
and I showed everybody like, "Yo, I fucking got them." And it was like a proud moment. I was like
Yo.
stupid hype about it.
Yo,
I was
man.
probably the first person to put them on feet. I put them on feet the same day. Like there was no going back. I was not trying to sell them. I don't think I could ever sell these shoes. As a matter of fact, I'll buy a second pair.
Oof.
If I come up on some like an extra 10K to spare,
Yeah.
if somebody want to let me claim some kids on my taxes this year, I'll buy a pair. I'll buy another pair of March yards.
Yo, just start put the feelers out now. Be like, yo, let me
That's
put
what
your
I'm
kids
saying.
on
Like,
on
yo,
the
let
taxes
me
this
claim
year.
that kid. Like I just need a pair of kicks. I'll give them back to you next year.
Yo, I
But
mean,
yeah,
that's
I'll take another pair.
that.
My boy who I worked with, Bryson, he actually wear tested the 2.5s, like that
Oh,
black guard.
yeah.
He wear tested them, and I was like, yo, they're high. Like I'll rock those. I wouldn't. I don't think I would wear them like as often as I would wear these because
Hmm.
I mean it's a niche shoe with that with that guard in front.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I would definitely wear it, but like I would reserve that for like rain and like snow.
Would you
Or
do
if I'm like the boot, the
Yeah.
overshoe,
Yeah, I was gonna say
no,
the
I never got
overshoe.
into those. My boy Bryson got those too, and he wore them like a boot for a while, and then he cut
Mhm.
them.
That's what
And
I've
it's
seen
like
a lot of people doing. Yeah.
I see the appeal in cutting them. Like I like if they just dropped like that, I was like, oh, like that's just kind of hot. But
Hmm.
to cut the all the other shit off, I'm not doing that. That's a
Nah. Yeah.
waste.
That's mad work. for
Yeah,
like,
that's no.
and the shoe was like
Yeah,
five
I'm
hundred
good.
dollars. What the hell? You gonna do that?
Retail was
Yeah,
500. They
yeah.
were reselling for almost three for a
Hmm.
long time. That definitely came down. They were reselling for like 3K for a long time. So I would rock. I would get the other ones, and I would. I think I would mainly just like ice them. I don't think I would really ever wear them, but it'd be nice to have like the evolution of the shoe.
No, yeah, for sure. I think
I
it's
have
definitely
every
a classic
colorway in
shoe.
the.
Yeah.
I have every colorway in the general purpose shoe now.
Oh, you got the brown ones too?
They dropped today. I got the text.
Yeah.
Like I got the thing. I saw his post like sign up to buy them. So
Hmm.
I signed up and I got the text for the brown pair, and I was like, oh shit. Because the white pair I ended up buying from Danny,
Uh huh.
and he had a size. They run big as hell. Have you tried them on or have a pair?
I mean,
You wearing them right now?
I'm literally wearing it right now.
My pair is still in the box. I
Yeah.
haven't worn them because they run big. So I figured they were gonna run big because they have no lining.
Hmm.
So when Danny got them in, I was like, "Yo, Danny, like if you get a size 9 in, like I'll come scoop." And he texted me right back, and he was like, he just sent me a photo, and it was a box size 9. So it was a women's 10.5, I think.
Hmm.
Oh wait, I have the box right here. Yeah, it's a women's 10.5. So I was like, "All right, fuck it, I'm gonna come by." So I got them, and I didn't try them on. I just, took them out the store, came home, and the day I planned on wearing them, I put them on, and I was like, "Damn, these shits are kind of loose still." Like my foot definitely was sliding up a little bit, and I don't like that. I like my sneakers to be snug.
Right. Yeah.
So I haven't worn them. So I need a size swap. Or I told him if he gets an 8.5, I'll just swap him out.
For
But
me, I didn't
he
have
has
that
it not an eight
problem.
and a half.
I didn't have that problem. Like,
I have narrow feet,
mm,
so I prefer the snug fit. But the yellow pair I bought from him also, and I
hmm.
got those in 8.5. I haven't worn them yet. I'm waiting until the summer, and then I got the brown pair today. So when those come in the mail, since they're brown and they're like that's kind of like my color palette. Like if I flip the camera around and show you,
Hmm.
just about every pair of shoes I have out here except for my Oreo fours is literally super neutral colors.
Yeah.
Just white, creams, tans. I have a couple crazy Salomons, but for the most part, everything, even in my boxes, is just like white or gray or just those kind of warm, earthy tones.
I mean, I think
So,
it goes great. I think I was on that wave for a good bit, and then Travis Scott kind of like messed up that
oh yeah, I mean,
everybody's into those colors
I
now.
got the Travis, I got the sixes in both colorways.
Hmm.
But the thing with the sixes is that they're olive green, and then the other pair is tan. So
Tan.
again,
Yeah.
same shit. I have the fragment lows. I have fragment highs. Got fragment highs. I don't have OG fragments. Um, I have reverse mocha that I haven't worn yet,
Hmm.
and the only thing I'm missing is the fours. I never got a pair of the fours.
No. Yeah. The fours are all time classic. Even though
Yeah,
now it's like overly saturated. I think anybody
it is.
is
It
like,
is. But I
yeah,
mean, to be fair, the fours are my top three Jordans.
yeah,
I
same
think
here.
fours. I think ones, and I'm only saying ones because of the silhouette.
Hmm.
Because the only pairs of Jordan ones I've ever owned are the three Travis Scott pairs that I have now.
Hmm.
I never owned a pair of ones because people are not gonna like this. I saw them as like the basic bitch Jordan. Like just everybody had them and wear them all the time, and I
Yeah.
hated that shit. I hated it. I hated it. Part of the reason why I wear my fragment lows so much is because people don't have them.
Right.
Now a lot of people have them at least.
Hmm.
And then I was like, I want to take this crazy ass shoe, quote unquote crazy ass shoe, that is in such a wearable colorway, and just wear it all the time.
Hmm.
Like I wear that shoe 5 out of 7 days of the week.
I mean, it's a good shoe. So
Like
you
literally,
ain't going wrong.
I showed you the back of them. They're literally
Yeah.
starting to I'm starting to get heel drag on them already
Hmm.
because I wear them that much. So I have two pairs of them though. So I'll wait for these to get really
I
beat and
mean,
bust out the
excuse
second
me.
pair just to
Excuse me.
upset people.
But
So that's part of the reason why I haven't worn the mochas either
yeah.
because I don't have a second pair. I only have one. So when I get a second pair, I'll bust them out.
I mean, listen, I love your appreciation for your pairs. Uh, but there's also another question I asked before we end the podcast.
Hmm.
And that question is, think about that time where you got your first pair, whether it be the Prestos or the fives,
Hmm.
right? Now you time traveled and now you're behind
Yeah.
yourself before you open that box. And
Hmm.
as you open that box, what would you tell your younger self?
Don't wear them to school. Because now I regret not having them.
Hmm.
Don't wear them to school. They got so creased. They got beat. I played ball in them. That was like we had to wear all black shoes to school.
Hmm.
So when I got those, I was like, "This is gonna be my old black shoe."
Yeah.
Because again, I wanted to flex. I wanted to go to school and be like, "Yeah, I got these." What? Oh, and the other thing, they had so much black in them that like teachers couldn't be like, "Yo, you can't wear that."
Hmm.
So I would do it just to like fuck with them and be like, "Yeah, I don't have the appropriate school shoes on, but you can't tell me to take them off."
Yeah, you caught him. You caught him on
But
that
yeah,
one.
we were looking for loopholes. Everybody was talking about, yo, like what shoes are we gonna get this year to avoid the black Air Force ones?
Hmm.
I remember Nike came out with all black up tempos, and that was the thing for a while. People were rocking up tempos instead of the Air Force ones to
Oh
school.
no, yeah. I mean, I remember that. I went to Catholic school for a little bit, and yeah, I remember up tempos being worn all the time, or pennies.
Yeah, all the time. You
Yeah,
remember the silver pair? Oh,
yeah,
pennies too. Pennies, the
yeah,
black and white pennies, because they weren't really white. Only thing that was white was like the lace locks
yeah.
or
Or the
like
the half
the
cent,
eyelets.
the half
Yeah,
cent with
half
the like,
cents
yeah,
with the
with the
little hit of
little,
blue too. We were
yeah.
rocking that. Kobe's were popular also. We used to rock Kobe's to school all the time.
Hmm.
Kobe sixes, the low cut pair. I had a pair of Kobe sevens, the snow leopards that I used to love wearing, but they
Yeah.
were gray and blue, so I couldn't wear them to school. I used to put them in my backpack. I had the little slip on ankle guard because they were like
Yeah.
convertible low top high tops.
That was that was like called the trophy system or something like that. It was like
Yeah, yeah,
the
exactly.
something
Trophy
system.
system.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, yo, this has been a great episode, Ben. We're just gonna end it off with, you know what we say every week to everybody listening: wear your kicks, because we know Ben does.
I
Peace.
definitely wear my sneakers. Peace.